What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the hoetohusbandpodcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me today. I got my man, Jay Bob, in the building. What's up, bro?
Everybody was good, everyone. Man, want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day, man. Hope all the fathers out there, enjoy this Father's Day. But want to quickly remind you can catch us on TikTok as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold Up the Podcast. If for those interested in promos, shouts, can DM us on IG at Hold Up the Podcast, as well as emails at holdupthepodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I also have my man SD in the building. What's up, bro?
Nut, man. Ready to get this show on the road. Think it's going to be a good conversation today. But first, let me give a shout out to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Hold a Husband podcast on Cash App and PayPal. All right, T.
I want to remind everybody that y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on thecore94.com. Now, in light of Father's Day, today's episode is titled Dads Really Matter. And we're going to be having a real transparent conversation about how society and media as a whole views dads and fatherhood. So I think that'll be real interesting. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to discuss stuff that we've seen trending or on our timelines. So we got a couple interesting videos this week. This first video kind of shocked me when I saw it, but it was talking about the domestic violence rate among women being higher than men. Let's take a look.
If you look at just the numbers of domestic violence, it's a good indicator, it's a good window into society. Heterosexual numbers are here. Lesbian numbers are here. Gay couples are here. Men are supposed to be more violent, but who's really the problem? I'm answering it because truth hurts. The reality is, women are more aggressive and assertive. They fight dirty. They fight with their words. And as a consequence of that, they have a much higher domestic violence rate. They're entitled. They're empowered. A woman can hit you.
Yeah, I just would leave.
She can do whatever she wants to hurt you.
Yeah.
And she's going to call the cops and say, he hit me. Who's going to jail?
Me.
What does that do to women? Completely empowers them to be abusive.
Yes.
They don't have to learn the limits of their abilities.
I mean, the theory behind it or the logic behind it makes a lot of sense. We see women can make false accusations against men and, weaponize the police and the protections that are given to them in society. They're able to weaponize it at a very frequent rate. But I was kind of shocked to hear that lesbian couples had the most domestic violence out of all three categories. So it does dispel this myth, because I always thought that the domestic violence was caused primarily by men that lack emotional control. So this video was kind of eye-opening for me.
Yeah, I knew that. Also, lesbian divorces is like 70-some%. They have the highest divorce rate too. Over heterosexual couples. Yes. Lesbian couples have the highest divorce rate and the highest domestic violence rate. A lot of it is because of what they were talking about in the clip, is that women don't really understand consequences of their actions a lot of times when it comes to it. Because like he said, if a woman hit me, I'm just going to walk away. Most men will probably do that, especially if you didn't hurt him in any way or, really, really embarrass him. I have done it personally. But when you get to another woman, well, now it's all game. It's fair. So now you just can't hit. Now it's more of a back and forth thing. So, women don't understand the consequence of violence like men do. Men understand the consequence of violence.
Absolutely.
That's why men are usually respectful of other men. Most men outside today respect other men as we're outside. We don't cuss other men out. We don't call them out their names, and we keep our hands to ourselves. But we see way more women doing a lot of this here stuff because they don't understand the consequences of violence, because they are women and are allowed to do certain things that they know they're allowed to do.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And here's the thing, women feel emboldened to do these things, like you say, because society doesn't hold them to a standard. They're not held accountable. Think about this. If a woman can slap a man or, incite violence on a man and he calls the cops, how many times have you heard like the dispatcher laughs at him and don't even take it serious when he makes a cop call, and it's a serious situation here. Matter of fact, this reminds me. Y'all remember what was it? Stephen A. Smith. It was in light of the Ray Rice situation where he spoke on this and he got suspended for a couple of weeks from ESPN. He said, there's situations where women, kind of, incite violence or agitate a situation like this.
You can't even say it. You can't even imply it.
Yeah,
they put it in check real quick.
For the guys, fortunately, some of them, have the incidents on tape. But what's the guy that played in Creed, where he was running from the white chick? And
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors. Somehow, some way, he's still made out to be the aggressor in the situation. But it reminded me, I don't. A couple of women went over to like Saudi Arabia and like went to jail for cussing out a cop and
I remember it was like I think
behaving how women behave in America in other places and got dealt with accordingly. So it is a reflection of the system that empowers them, because they'll threaten you with it. I'll call the cops. I'll do this. You know what I'm saying? You won't see your kid again. So it's a shame that it's like that. But it's something, like you said, men know better. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you really want smoke, you're not gonna be confrontational or creating problems with other guys. And especially with this day and age where guys are, you do have a lot of weak guys that are scared to fight or scared to get beat up on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all those type of things. So a lot of guys will grab a gun before they risk getting beat up and embarrassed by another guy. So it's way too risky to just be out here fighting like that.
Yeah, man. But you know what, man? This is why believe all women is bullshit. It is.
Yeah.
It is. I don't subscribe to that, man, because we have known plenty of women and seen them out here lying, man. Lying on men. We seen the football player Xavier Worthy. He went to jail. This was over the summer, maybe
last. I was like, it was after the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it was about 5 months ago. It was all over social media. It was on ESPN. Adam Schefter put it out there, like, yo, he's arrested for domestic violence on his girlfriend, beating his girlfriend and hitting his girlfriend. Boom, they did their investigation, got their cameras, and why everything went down, found out he caught her cheating. She didn't want to leave his place, and she was the one hitting him. They let him go, no charges. But look at what they get to do. We seen it in the movie. Remember Thin Line Between Love and Hate?
Yep.
Remember Thin Line Between Love and Hate?
Yep.
She beat herself up. And then got him arrested. Said, yeah, he the one that did it, even though she did it to herself. Women know.
Slammed her door in the door. Nah. Yeah, she played that role too well, man.
I know.
But listen, but now with social media, all you got to do is put it out there. It don't even have to be true.
The accusation's gonna be way louder than.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Keke Palmer, Amon Shumpert, DeAndre White, all of this is an accusation. Now the women are like, oh, well, he hit her, so he don't deserve to get his kid. He hit her. He deserved to pay all this money. They don't even know if it's true or not. And women understand that and know it, and they use it to their advantage. A lot of
you know what?
Not all.
SC, just want to touch on it. There's no like real, with these gossip blogs, there's no real like investigative journalism or real journalists. These are just gossip blogs, so they kind of just take the story and run with it with not any evidence or facts, or even let the situation play out there.
Yeah, man, it's a hot topic. It's a headline. Yep. They got a mugshot to go along with it. So it can do lots of damage. You can lose deals, opportunities. You can get fired. So there are lots of consequences that lots of reasons outside of just physical why these threats hold weight when women, use them the way that they do. But let's keep things rolling, man. This next video, now, again, I was shocked a little bit. This was a video from a Ghanaian talk show, but it was talking about the difference between how men and women perceive things. Let's take a look.
There is a book called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From
Venus, yes.
In the book, the writer makes a very interesting point that has guarded my life. He says that women talk and argue based on feelings. Men talk and argue based on facts and figures. And there are all of them are F. A lady says, Oh, I want to go there. I wish I can go to Safari Valley. I wish I can go to Aqua Safari. I wish I can go to. It's the feeling. I want to go there. A man is quickly asking, how much would it cost to go there?
Well,
He's not thinking about, oh, do I want to go there? Is it nice to be there? Oh, how much? 5,000 a night? And you want to be there for 3 days?
and you eat.
The figure is, you will eat. So the figure is ringing in his mind. It's not about, he doesn't want to satisfy your desires. The question is, am I ready to spend 15,000 Ghana cedis on you for 3 days?
Well, if the girl is worth it, smart.
Now you're still talking about feelings. If she is worth it, do it.
Yes, or drink
But
water
that
and go to bed.
15,000 has taken me 6 years to raise.
Oh,
And you want it for 3 days.
we don't really care.
So you see where the issue is.
Yes.
So
Well, now when I saw that, it's things that we've talked about multiple times. I was shocked to see that has hit Africa. I've never been to Africa, but I was under the belief that those kind of perspectives on men and I deserve this. I thought that was an American women thing. Because, we talk about passport bros go to another country and you get women with different value systems. So I was shocked to see that was an African thing. And then for her to confirm it, like, we don't even care. Like, he just told you it took him 3 years to save his money and you don't care about him blowing it on a 3-day vacation. So it's very disheartening to see that this is spread around the world like that.
It's not a shock to me because American culture really runs the world, honestly. Yeah. Especially like hip hop culture and how people act and all that type of thing. Like I've seen red wigs in Africa, in African videos, orange wigs, blue wigs in African videos over in Africa. Because what they seeing Sexy Red. They know these songs. Why you think all these people tour over to these other countries like that? They tour over to Africa. They tour and sell out over in China. They tour over in Sweden and all these other places. American culture, man, is the landscape for a lot of people. So the mindset also is a staple for a lot of people. So you're seeing a lot more of the culture of America getting to these other places, and it's affecting them also when it comes to dating, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to having kids and the attitudes of the men and the women. It's spreading like wildfire. That's why places like China, they ban American stuff.
Yeah,
they say
no way. On that.
We don't want this nonsense over here. All you can look at is this. You can't even look at twerking on any social media in China. You can't look at Sexy Red on anything in China. They don't even let the gay dudes in China on TV. They said no feminine men on TV. China is strict with what they do because they don't want the American culture, be it laziness, be it obesity, be it whorism. They don't want none of that stuff leaking into their people's minds and taking over their society like it has taken over America. So it's not surprising to me at all. Jay, what you think?
It just goes to show, like, I guess you could say feminism, it's not limited to, the US or just Western culture. It's kind of, making its way elsewhere around the world. Like you just said, it's spread out in Europe, even, out east, even in Africa here. That, because what she said, he said, hey, I worked my way to save this money, so why would I spend it on a 3-day vacation? Spend 5,000 on a 3-day vacation? Like, it makes zero sense here. It's like,
and then you're right. They'll encourage this type of behavior, but a man that would do that, unless he's rich, if you just asking a regular 9-to-5 dude to just spend all his saved money on a vacation, then that is a dude that clearly does not demonstrate that he's husband or father material. Because as a husband and father, your goal is you are the anchor for long-term stability for your family. And so having the heart to tell her no, or an alternative, no, we can't do that, but we can take a vacation and do this. Like, you have to, sometimes they're going to be disappointed. And that's a lot of times, that's why the father becomes the bad guy in the household. Because to be a good father, sometimes you got to say no. You got to place the boundaries on what you can and can't do as a family. without being scared of them being mad at you.
You know what? I think you guys, as fathers, and Terry, you as a husband, say, look, you want to be respected in your relationship and not liked. Like, if you want to be liked, just say yes to everything and you'll be liked.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm gonna take it a step further because I agree with you when you saying, hey, this dude ain't husband material, right? If he can't say no and budget what's right for the family, right? Because he ain't got no backbone. As a husband material man, guy in a healthy relationship, you got to have a backbone about things, right? Especially if you don't really have it like that. And he said it took him 6 years to save up that or something like that,
or 3 years or something.
3 years. Sorry, not just that part, but also the part that she's not a wifey material woman if she's demanding it, or is going to get in her feelings about it when you can't, or you don't want to because it took you so long to save this money. A woman that really care about you and like you and love you for being with you is going to understand when you say, baby, that's a lot of money. That I don't want to spend that money. It took me 8 months to save up that much money that we gonna spend in 3 days. That's too much money. Maybe we could do something else. Now, a woman that care about you and care about the well-being of the relationship gonna say, she's gonna understand this. She gonna put her feelings to the side and she gonna be like, okay, maybe you're right. So let's try something a little cheaper. Maybe not go to Hawaii. Maybe we can go over to Vegas and stay at New York, and it's a quarter of the price, and we can still go somewhere and enjoy ourselves. How about that? That's what
compromise.
Care about you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see, she was trying to gaslight him. Well, you know what? Hey, but I'm worth it. Like, and being worth it is really relative to the person that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
All of them feel like they worth it, man.
That's what I'm saying. They back you into a corner with that, because what the heck are you supposed to say when she say, "But I'm worth it"? What you gonna say? No, you not. Oh, go ahead. They know you not.
That's a matter of your opinion there.
Of course.
But all of them say that. They all feel like they wife material. They all feel like they the best woman you'd have never had. So you're right. There are some things that you should keep to yourself to preserve your best interests as a man. But like I said, man, it's so crazy to see these type of things because these women expect this kind of stuff, and you're not married, y'all don't live together, nothing. They'll just gladly finesse a dude that likes them or has genuine interest in them to get what they can get out of them, and then it's on to the next. So I totally understand why guys are moving the way they move. I mean,
can you blame them?
The ones that have I mean, that everybody know that's not right. You know what I'm saying? It's right from wrong.
But listen to what
I mean. Some women won't do it. There are some women that are very attractive that will not finesse a dude that they know they're not interested in. So I get it. Women know right from wrong.
Yeah, but it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Dudes finesse chicks out of coochie all the time where they just want to hit. I'm just saying. They want to hit and they just like, yo, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to her, whatever the case, and then boom, I'll hit and then I'm on to the next, right? So when women go and they get a dude that's gonna be a sucker, like he's gonna be a sucker, like, hey man, take a lick. He's a sucker. You shouldn't be a sucker. You got to learn from that, right? Yeah. So I really don't blame.
I guess I'm just thankful I learned them lessons early.
Yeah, I don't blame the women, man, because the guys, in all fairness, men do the same thing, and we have at some point too. At some point in our life, where we really didn't like shorty.
See, I was never really a liar. I always
ain't got nothing to do with lying. Not lying.
Well, if you keeping it okay, let me put it like this. I can be sexually attracted to a chick and not have no interest in being her boyfriend. And as long as I'm not gassing you up with I love you, I want to be with you, I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, long as I'm not doing that, then to me, I'm being honest. Like, I like it when we had fun. I like talking to you. I think you're attractive. If I'm being honest about the reasons why I'm continue to hang out with you and I'm not misleading you, then to me, I felt like I was always being transparent. So I frown upon dudes that lie or mislead women. I call them fuckboys.
Me too. But it's the difference between coming out up front and saying, listen, I just want sex. I just want sex. Now you can hang with that. Now, okay, that's cool.
I don't think that's realistic.
Also, I know, but what I'm saying is, since you don't think that's realistic, now you ain't gotta lie in order to finesse it. Now, instead of lying, you just going with the flow of things. You ain't saying, hey, I just want to smash, even though you do. You just like,
I disagree with the just smash. So, if we going to the movies, we going to concerts, we going to a comedy show, we are doing more than just smashing. And I enjoy your company in all those settings. So to me, I just want to have sex, that's not a realistic expectation. Now,
okay, hold on. Let me ask you a question. After you have smashed, did you lose interest in other things in any point? After you hit that post-nut clarity hit you in your forehead, did you at that point? Hold on. Did you at that point ever be like, you know what? I don't really want to go out no more. I don't want to see it no more. I ain't really talking to it no more. Come on now.
Me personally, no. Because let me explain. I never did things to try to trick chicks into. I'm not going on a date with you to go on some fancy date to finesse you into sleeping with me. My whole thing when I was single was I'm going to interact with a chick and communicate to the point where she likes communicating and hanging out with me. I like hanging out and communicating with her. And I'm going to put us in opportunities where we both gonna be horny, or I'm gonna initiate the horniness. And so it wasn't no situation where it was like, all right, I'm telling her one thing, then we had sex, and then my interest is gone. Because my logic, I want to have sex several more times if I've shot my shot and we've been communicating. I want to have sex as many times as possible before you get a boyfriend.
Right, but I'm saying, when you didn't want to have sex with her no more, did you continue to go out? Did you continue to take her to dinner? Exactly.
No.
So this is what I'm saying. It was even though you took her out, you took her to these places. The main goal was sex. That was it. It wasn't to take her out.
I don't look at it. No.
Hold on. Let me finish. No. You wasn't taking her out. You wasn't taking her out because you really liked her like that. You wasn't taking her to dinner because you really liked her. You didn't take her to David Buster's because you really liked her like that.
I took her there because it was fun.
It was fun. It was fun up until the time you got tired of smashing. Then all of a sudden, why wasn't that fun no more?
Why
wasn't that fun no more?
There's usually a reason for me to stop smashing a chick. There's usually a reason. Because look at it like this. To fight that logic, if Shorty is cute, I know we already having sex, and we're gonna do something fun when we hang out. For me to have to cut her off and no longer do those things, she had to disrespect me, do something that made me feel like I don't want to rock with her like that no more. It ain't because of I guess theoretically, if I didn't enjoy the sex, I would just get it from somebody else. But if all those other three things was in line, then my logic says to continue doing those things until something disrupts it. So maybe I was different because, like I said, I had a whole bunch of situations where I had long-term sex buddies.
Let me ask you something. There was nothing y'all ever did sexually or something about her body that kind of turned you off and you was like, I ain't with that.
I get it. He trying to justify his hit cutting off chicks for their feet, Jay.
I do.
Wait. Time out. I already know they feet busted before I smash. I'm just asking because I'm saying that because I did cut a chick off, you know what I'm saying, that I was smashing when she wanted the 69 because I didn't know this about her until she tried the 69er. She had a little hemorrhoid right there. I was like, oh no, sweetheart, what is this?
That's nasty work.
You got a chitlin hanging off your booty, sweetheart. You got a chitlin hanging off your booty right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, man. That's diabolical right there.
She got you traumatized.
Nobody with a hemorrhoid on your booty.
Hell no.
I cut her off. This heifer got to go, man.
Yeah.
So I put it in my
I
phone.
never heard that before.
Hey, I put it in my phone. It's chitlin booty.
Oh
She had a
man!
little chitlin hanging off her booty.
Oh,
Hey, man,
I wasn't ready for that, man. I wasn't ready.
The game is the game. Women do it. Men do it. We just do it for different reasons.
I thought you were gonna say something else, man. That's not the one I expected.
Yeah, man, you threw me off with that one. All right, man. We up against the clock, man. We about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be getting into today's topic. Dads really matter. We're gonna be having a real candid conversation about how society and media in general portrays dads and fathers. You are tuned into the Hold a Husband podcast. We'll be back in a moment. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hold a Husband podcast. Today's episode is titled Dads Really Matter. And we're going to be having a conversation about how society and media in general portrays dads and fatherhood. So I guess I wanted to start it off by asking y'all, based off what y'all know and experience, what would y'all say are the key characteristics or ingredients that indicate that a guy is either going to be a good dad or has good dad potential?
That he's gonna be a good dad. That his life is structured. I think that's a good indicator. That he's a responsible man. That he handles his business. How he handles his business out here with maybe his job and how he deals with other people. I think all these things translate into men that'll be stand-up men. It's rare that you get a man that's a stand-up guy. Like, he has integrity. He respects other people. He has his life together, and he has a certain level of discipline and responsibility that he takes pride in, and he runs away from his responsibility as a dad. That is rare. And so, in my opinion, those are things that women should be looking for in a guy when it comes to men that they would want to be dads. Jay, what you think? I know I covered a lot.
Yeah, you did. I'm more so aligned with what you said. Like, more so, is he responsible? How does he handle his own life? Is he able to upkeep and uphold the household by himself? Does he pay all his bills? Is he hold a steady job? Because here's the thing: when you initially meet somebody, when he becomes a father, hey, he's a deadbeat, or he didn't just all of a sudden become a deadbeat or become irresponsible. He was irresponsible 9 times out of 10 when he met him.
From the beginning, yeah.
True. Yeah. I'd say I agree with what you said about as far as demonstrating that he's capable of taking care of himself in his own household, and he has the initiative to do the things that are necessary. I think as a teenager, guys learn that, man, everything in life ain't gonna be what you want to do. There are gonna be a lot of mornings you gotta wake up when you don't feel like it, and a lot of stuff you gotta do you don't feel like doing. The boys that learn those fundamental life lessons are able to really carry those things on and apply them as they become adults. And so that is a major factor of it. But I would also say how he interacts with other kids. I don't know. I've always had good relationships with kids, even as a teenager, tickling them, playing with them, picking them up or whatnot. Some people just don't have the interest in interacting with kids like that. but I can be in a Walmart line and the kid will smile at me and, you know what I'm saying, make eye contact, and I engage and actually interact with the kid. I'll smile, I'll, you know, peekaboo or do something because that's just kind of my personality. So I think that seeing how a how a guy genuinely feels about kids and interacting with him, I think that's real huge.
Wait a minute, because I can tell you right now, I love kids, right? Mm-hmm. But I interact with them different when they ugly. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Hey man, when these little falcons be ugly, man. Like, listen, man. Like,
man, you out of line, man.
Shit. I said I interact different. They ugly.
Get me a paper and roll it up. Get. When they ugly and they bad, you know what I'm saying?
I can definitely relate to bad. That's funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in Walmart, a cute kid, yeah, hey, they little man, what's up? But a little bad kid, I'm tripping them in the aisle. Get your ugly self on somewhere. So it's different. You know what I mean? That don't mean I'm a bad guy, bad dad.
All right, man. So the next thing I wanted to ask y'all, like, so why do y'all think that there is such this effort to paint fatherhood in general as a negative thing? Because I'll see, you know, posts on social media and clips from courtrooms where women will act like a man trying to instill discipline and structure in a child's life is that they'll use negative terms. You demanding, you trying to, you know what I'm saying? They use slavery and all these type of terms to try to define or describe a man doing what a man is supposed to do in the household. Why do y'all think that's portrayed so negatively in society?
Because it makes women seem like the victims and the best parent all in the same thing. And what happens? They get the sympathy, they get the money, they get things out here, they get the commercials, they get all of these here different things. So, you know, are there some bad dads? Sure. But I think it's overblown for the sake of money, really. Because like I said, women get to play the victims and then they get to play the heroes, and it's for clickbait. They get to blame the men for everything that's going on out here. Because in all honesty, we know that the majority, especially in the Black community, the majority of the issues that we have in our community come from fatherless homes. That's something that's statistically proven. 70% of men in jail and boys in juvenile homes come from fatherless homes. 70% of dropouts, 70% of drug abusers, 70% of domestic violence men, right? And guys that force themselves sexually on women come from single mother homes. So with that being said, it's a lot of negativity in that aspect that kind of a lot of times points to the women and their choices that they made. But in order to play the victims that a lot of women do, they shift a lot of this stuff over to the men to try to make men seem like, you know, that they're the issue and they're the problem, instead of taking that accountability for a lot of the things that they do. Even though some men are the problem, I'm not saying they're not, but it's a money maker to make the men seem like they do.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a lot to say this, but you know, it's just, you know, in this day and age in society, we basically live in a kind of autocracy where, you know, women get, you know, preferentially to get a level of deference that the men don't. You know, think about with Mother's Day. You know, we go all out. There's all types of things for Mother's Day. It's not the same for Father's Day. Like you don't see all this propaganda of going all out for Father's Day, but you see that for Mother's Day. And I'm not, you know, I'm not begrudging anybody for going all out for Mother's Day. I'm not, but just think of the difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day here. So they make it seem, like you said, especially in our community, right? They make fatherhood seem like it's such a bad thing, or having a father home it seems to be such a bad thing, when in fact, you know, hey, these kids need their fathers.
Yeah, it's like the only benefit to having a dad around is the additional money he can provide. And so just the relationships with the children, the lessons that a father can teach a child, and just the time being around a child, all of those things seem to be undervalued because we have so many women that choose to be single mothers that will go out and get
all
pregnant
of them. All of them.
I mean, I'd say most of them choose it. There are some dudes that will intentionally get a woman pregnant and then not contribute. So
listen,
I've seen some dudes like that too, to where they like, that's her problem. I ain't going, but that should be evident for him, for any woman that is dating him, that his life is set up like that. So to the first thing we talked about, those dudes don't meet that criteria of demonstrating responsibility and all that to begin with. So I guess you can put that on the women.
All right. So I got two things that I want to touch on real quick, right? I say that all single moms chose to be single moms. Let me explain my logic as to why I say that, right? If all of these here women found out they were pregnant, and this here's a question for both of you all. If all of these single women that weren't married found out that they were pregnant and decided to terminate because they did not want to be a single mom, could they do that?
In most cases, yes.
Yeah, mostly I would say yeah.
Or plan B or something. Do they have 100% control to not have that baby?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So in essence, so in contrast to that, if every single woman can make the decision not to become a single mom 100% on her own, if she decides to become a single mom, she then made that decision on her own to be a single mom. It's just that simple, because the man don't have to sign nothing for her to go get a plan B or to go and terminate. She can go to other states and terminate. She can give the kid up, drop him off at the fire station. Like they have they have
way more options than men.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess I can see what you're saying from a scientific standpoint. They had the opportunity to terminate the pregnancy, but I think a lot of times that decision is conditional. If they're in the relationship with the dad and the dad is telling them what he's going to do and what he plans on doing, I think those are the type of things that make a woman, especially a young girl, choose to say, okay, religious reasons, the health concerns, all those type of things get factored into that decision. But I guess like you said, from a scientific yay or nay standpoint, they do have the opportunity to terminate.
Yeah, I agree.
No question about it.
Things that go into that, right? But I mean, it's still up to them, 100, regardless of what the man wants, because the man can say, "I want the kid, I want the kid, I want the kid," and she can go and terminate. Don't matter what he wants, right? So you have to be able to see that on both ends. So earlier I had talked about the money aspect of it, right? This is what I mean. Why they paint dads like this, especially in the Black community. They have done it since the 70s and 80s, right? This is why they push the single, I don't need a man agenda to our Black women more than any, in my opinion, because that's what I see. We see it on TV. A lot of the shows ain't no family unit in a lot of the shows. Matter of fact, it's a bunch of single women that's bickering back and forth on TV that got kids, right? But look, they becoming rich off of it, right? Then you got the music. Sexy Red had a song called F My Baby Daddy. Popular song. F My Baby Daddy. All these here chicks, what are they doing? Your Summer Walker.
They can relate.
They having babies out of wedlock, which is their role models, which is the ones that these here women look up to. And then you talk about social media. You got people like Kay Williams. I forgot her first name. The older woman had the baby. Rihanna and they like, hey, you ain't gotta have no husband to get no baby, right? Because what happens then? What happens? Single moms and women in general spend the most when they don't have a man there corralling them. This is all a part of the plan to not only keep Black people separated and arguing and all of this here stuff, the nuclear family apart, but it's also for money, because the families together spend wiser. They spend wiser because it's not just.
And I was gonna say that it made me think about the whole child support system is kind of essentially a money grab, getting percentages of the income. So I mean, there are a lot of divide and conquer tactics that have been used against the Black community. And this is definitely, one of the most strategic and devastating ones. Because it feels like.
Let me ask you a question. Do y'all know that the states get a percentage of every child support payment?
No.
That's why I just recently learned it.
Yes, that's why they want you to go through the state. They don't want the parents to work it out amongst themselves. They want you to go through the state. If you work it out amongst yourselves, and then later on she come back and she get mad at you, she could say he didn't pay me nothing. And Eddie Curry going through that right now. He on back child support $3 million. He said he paid her in cash every month, and then she took him to child support when the kid was 18 and said he never gave me nothing. Yeah, and the state said, "Yep, you should have went through the state." Why? Because every child support payment, the state gets paid from every payment every week or every 2 weeks that they collect child support. So they want you to go through the state. They want you to pay child support. Yeah, I'm sorry, man, and I jumped in there. Go ahead.
But no, I was gonna say, man, it just feels like even as a married, father, I feel like I'm the minority. Like, I don't know very many men that were married and planned their child and all that type of things. But I can vividly remember the perception of me as a dad even then, on social media and just in society in general. It feels like the women don't view men as capable parents. Like, men ain't capable of changing diapers and taking care of a baby or whatnot. And so I can remember, like how offended I got. I remember right after we had the baby, my wife's kind of first time going back outside or whatever. So she's going out to turn up with her friends or whatever. And then when she came back, they were all like, "Where's the baby? What you leaving him with T?" Like they were truly shocked that she was willing to leave the baby with me. You know what I'm saying? And so it is kind of offensive to the expectations that women have of you in this kind of, women are just perceived to automatically be good parents, and men are kind of perceived to be deadbeats or bad dads, unless you prove otherwise. So that's kind of the vibe that I got from that experience.
Well, I mean, I don't know necessarily about the deadbeats, but when you never had kids before, let me tell you, man, I found a new respect for women with my little boy was a baby, because bro, it's tough. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna pull my hair out plenty of days, because it was just me. Me and his mom wasn't together, so he was coming with me when he was 4 months old, 3 months. He was on breast milk still. You know what I mean? Wow. And now I'm trying to figure this out. Even though I had an older kid, I didn't have him that little like that, like around him like that when he was that small. And so it's a tough thing. And now you have to as a man change with how you are and how you think about the world, because now you got this little bitty kid that's depending on you hand and foot. So now you have to think about things that you never really thought about. Like, man, did he eat? Is he hungry? Did he pee on himself? Is he wet? It ain't something that I think about. Is the kid wet? Like, you have to literally change your mind as a man, because that part of nurturing is not really in us as men like that. You have to really focus on it. Whereas women, a lot of women, that part of nurturing for them is in them, because they're built that way. They're built empathetic and soft and affectionate, whereas men aren't, and we don't think about things like that. So I understand when women be like, "Man, you left him with T? That fool probably gonna have a diaper on that's gonna be full of dookie by the time you get home," because or the kid probably won't even eat. Because I remember my mom used to be like, "Well, did you feed him?" And I'm like, "Feed him? What you mean feed him? He ain't said nothing. What you mean?" I'll be like, "I'm not hungry, so I know he not hungry." Right? That's not something that we think about. So yeah, they worried about their kids. Like, is this fool equipped to take care of a kid? And don't tell me you ain't never thought about it. Like, man, I'm not hungry, so the kid can't be hungry, right? Because that's how men are. So I understand why women think that about me. Not the deadbeat aspect of it.
Well, I guess it's different because I live with my wife, so I got to see, you know what I'm saying? I guess thinking about it like you said, a man in his own space, or there is his towels clean, or so like just all the different things that you're right. I was able to observe a woman doing it majority of the time, and I was helping then too. So for her to be gone, like I know how to make a bottle, I know how to do this because it's like so. I already had the routine, but I was just offended. Like I'm like, what the fuck kind of what I'm saying? Like I can't believe y'all think like I got a degree, I got a career. How I'm not gonna be able to make sure my kid's good for a couple hours? Like, what did y'all think was gonna happen? I was gonna have her smoking a blunt. Like, what did y'all expect to happen?
Hey man, I melted a bottle, bro. I melted a bottle. Oh, that's what they
That's wild.
Jay, what was you
saying? No, that's why I wouldn't know how to react in that situation either. I'm like, I'll be sitting there like you, like, what the hell?
Hey,
yeah, well, I will say.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, T.
Well, no, I was just gonna say I realized there were a lot of things I didn't know about kids going through the process and buying it. Why we need to buy this? Cause you're not supposed to do this. There was a lot more knowledge that my wife got about having a baby than I would have looked up. But I had nieces and other babies in the family, so I felt like I was capable of doing a good job. Go ahead, SD.
Yeah, so now with so many, especially in the Black community, so many women having babies. I think it's 61%, if I'm not mistaken. 61% of Black women ages 18 to 45 or 50 or something like that have kids, right? Whereas only 46% of Black men have kids in that same age range, right? So the chances of you becoming a stepdad is pretty high. So Jay, how do you feel about the possibility of becoming a stepdad?
You know what? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily close the door on it per se. I guess it would just depend on what the situation was with the father. Like, hey, were you previously married? Is he still involved with the child's life? I would be kind of gauging those type of situations to see, now she just got with somebody and, he's deadbeat and he's nowhere to be found. I don't know.
You'd be more likely to deal with that situation, or would you prefer where there was an active dad involved with the kids?
I would prefer that there was an active dad in the process there.
Wow. Okay.
I think you're asking, because think about this for a second. You're asking a lot of somebody to come in and step up, right? Absentee father, and you're asking somebody to take care of a child that is not his. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think the stepdad thing. I think that's it's always a risky and uphill battle. But I think if you're a man that you don't have no kids, I think that's probably a situation you should probably steer from. A guy that has a child of his own, I think, would be more understanding and more, capable of dealing with that scenario. But for a dude that don't have kids to just come in and accept all the responsibility and all that come with, especially if there are multiple kids involved, because that could be a situation, the kids could, you not my daddy, you depending on the age, it could be disrespect, it could be depending on her parenting. So a woman with kids just opens up, there's so much more room for error for her to get cut off, in my opinion, because like I said, most guys ain't gonna be willing to, accept that responsibility. And if you show that you got the modern mentality or you got bad parenting skills, even if she bad or she got a big booty, that's not gonna be enough for most guys to sign up for that long term.
Yeah, I really don't care personally. Like, as far as if the dad around or the dad is not, I just want things to be peaceful, right? That's one thing. The second thing, because I have cut a woman off for this before. She had 2 kids. Baby daddy wasn't hardly doing anything, and she refused to put him on child support. And I'm like,
why?
Why not? Well, I just don't want to do it because he'll be upset and blah blah blah. And I'm like, he already ain't doing nothing. You need, you know what I'm saying, to help. Like, no way I'm gonna come into this, marry you. You letting him off the hook. Like, he made good money, and you letting him off the hook for paying child support. Like, it's one thing if he was giving her money. Like, cool, bet, that's fine. But she was like, he don't give me nothing. You know, if I ask,
I can't. It's so hard to
like, no
dudes
way.
like that hurt my soul. Like, so you a dude, you making good money, you got 2 kids, and you just don't send anything. Like, I can't be cool with a dude like that. I can't be. That to me, you don't have no values as a man, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it, you know what really kills me? It'll be dudes like that, and then they'll get with a new chick and then be trying to play super stepdad. Buying shoes. They got matching Jordans with somebody else's kids.
I hate that.
Like, come on, bro.
I hate that. You won't raise your own kids, but you want to play world's greatest dad to somebody else's child.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, that be having my head messed up, man. It'd be a lot of foolishness out there. Man, this episode went by quick, man. I didn't even realize we was up against the clock. We about to get up out of here, man. But before we go, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us safe with our background music. I want to remind y'all to continue supporting the podcast by donating to our Cash App and PayPal. I want to give another shout out to all the fathers out there. Celebrate your day. Enjoy your gifts. Your tools. JSD, man, I appreciate y'all linking up so we can get this one knocked out. This has been another episode of the Hold a Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.